NAMB claims that the SBC is the umbrella Southern Baptist governing body over all of the various groups of churches. That's in the court document again. You just stated that a moment ago, that they put that in there. Let's also look at this. NAMB has claimed that they are the SBC Mission Board. This is how they refer to themselves in the court documents. Again, forming this idea, we're all under this one umbrella. We are the SBC Mission Board. Another one of the concerns and claims that they've made. State conventions are members of the Southern Baptist Convention is another one of the claims. Our state conventions, you were executive director of a state convention and worked at the state convention in Oklahoma. Are they a member of the Southern Baptist Convention?
No. And let me give you an example. I just read in my quiet time, my Bible reading today, of how David used a foreign army to kill Uriah, the Hittite, whose wife was Bathsheba. And so David committed murder by using the sword of another to commit murder. And in essence, it could be said that that is what could be done if you use another organization, an outside organization, to do harm to someone that you're at odds with, you might say. I'm not certain I made myself clear on that, but I like the story. And I like the whole idea of, claiming we didn't do anything, but saying we could do something if we chose, and you would have no recourse against us. And what that essentially sets up with Southern Baptists is whoever has the most money and the most power is going to rule. If we can say about each other whatever we choose, and if we can do to each other whatever we choose, then whomever has the most power and the most influence is going to be in charge.
Yeah.
And that's essentially, I think, what we're.
It's somewhat terrifying.
Yeah.
If you look at it that way. Well, it's one of the reasons why many people are Southern Baptists, because we're all autonomous organizations. We partner together. Every church maybe doesn't choose to be as supportive of the ERLC or of one of the seminaries or of North American Mission Board or whatever. And they may be supportive of all of it. And of course, Southern Baptists are doing great work in lots of places all over the world, but go ahead.
I know where I was going with my David using the foreign army analogy, that actually it was the ERLC's amicus brief that said NAMB is the Baptist Mission Board. And now, if you ask the NAMB president or the NAMB hierarchy, are you the Baptist Mission Board? They would say, oh, no, we're not because we know we have an international mission board. The problem is that's what they allowed to be said to the court. So it's one thing to tell Southern Baptists something, but now you're telling the court something different. So you're using the court through misinformation to get something done that you want done that isn't true. You're not the Southern or the Baptist Mission Board. That Southern Baptists are not a hierarchy with the SBC at the top of the pyramid. You know that, but you allow that to be said to the court in order to win a case or in order to keep a case out of the court and not let it be adjudicated before the court. So it's sort of like David saying, oh, I'm not going to put a knife in Uriah, but I will put him in a position where the foreign army can kill him, which is what they did. And so in a sense, you might say the ERLC was put in the position through their amicus brief, which was known by the North American Mission Board, to do the dirty work, to misstate who Baptists are. A hierarchical denomination and such.
Okay, Randy, let me ask you, you're a longtime Southern Baptist, probably much like me. You were Southern Baptist 9 months before you poked your head into this world. Does that concern you, that these are just out and out falsehoods?
Well, it concerns me greatly because I think it puts at risk everything that we've built over the last 150 years. And what I mean by that is this. This case and other things as well have created diminished trust in the SBC. I mean, hugely diminished trust. So if you go back 16, 17 years, we had many thousands more churches involved in our work than we do today. Many, many thousands. We had $100 million more dollars, over $100 million, I think, in 2008 than we had in 2025, given through the cooperative program. $100 million. If you put interest to that, it's probably $200 million. That's how much our purchasing power is diminished in just about 16, 17 years. Baptisms are about 100,000 a year below where we were 15 years ago. Missionaries on the field, on the foreign field, are about over 2,000 less. It's probably 2,300 fewer than we were at our peak, something like that. So I say all that to say, some would say, we don't want to talk about this. We don't want to get directly involved in this. Other Southern Baptist leaders have just chosen not to say anything, not to get involved. What I would say is we are seeing, because of a lack of willingness to be honest about who we are as Southern Baptists, to correct these horrible misstatements that NAMB and the ERLC have made, to force them to correct them in the courts, not just in the media. Not to do such things is creating such lack of trust that we are seeing a huge diminishment of who we are as Southern Baptists. Like I said, over 2,000 fewer missionaries on the foreign field, $100 million less dollars in the cooperative program, $200 million if you count inflation, 100,000 fewer baptisms. I think much of that is the result of diminished trust, which has caused thousands and thousands of churches to just quit, just opt out of this cooperative system that we grew up with and love and believe in. But the argument has been, with all the problems, this is from some SBC leaders, with all of the problems, the cooperative methodology is still the best methodology to reach the world. That may be true. I think it is true. However, if people don't trust the cooperative system, if they don't trust those who are in this cooperative system, they can find other ways to do missions. And we might say, but it's not as good or not as effective. Well, there's other groups out there that are doing missions in different ways, and they're doing evangelism in different ways and sending missionaries and finding other ways to support them. I believe in the cooperative method of supporting missionaries, but I also understand if people don't trust the system, they're not going to support missionaries in that way. And if they still are mission-hearted and mission-minded, they're going to find other ways to send missionaries. That is what is happening right now in Southern Baptist life. Thousands of churches are finding other ways to support missions. And it's because of a lack of trust. And I think a lack of willingness to confront these issues head on and be honest with each other, be transparent and hold each other accountable to do the right thing. If we're not willing to do that, we're going to see a continued diminishment of cooperative program and missionaries on the field, because we've not turned that around now in almost 20 years. We've been going the opposite direction. And if we don't do the things to build back trust, we won't build back this missionary effort that our forefathers handed us.